Like, people just want to talk about me turning down movies. It's very silly because I've done a bunch as well that I think are very good. Hi, I'm Josh Hartnett, and this is my life in movies and TV.
Let's begin with The Faculty.
You're too tense, honey. Relax.
1998. I mean, it's gained so much of a cult following. What do you remember from that time of filming? Like, what's been your most treasured memory on that set?
Well, that was the first film that I was hired for. And I'd shot Halloween H2O simultaneously and a little bit before. And then I went out to Austin and shot The Faculty I'd go back and forth a little bit. And then I finished with The Faculty. But it was the first one I was hired for. Robert Rodriguez basically hired me for no reason, because I came into the audition unprepared. And I didn't even know really what acting was at that point in any way, shape, or form. I didn't think of it as a career. And he told me later that it was because I didn't care that much that he really liked me for the role. He was like, "You were just too cool. You weren't pandering. You weren't trying to get the part." And I was like, "That's because I didn't even really think I was an actor or care to be an actor at that point." He was fine with it. So that was, yeah. But we had a lot of fun on that shoot because we were all young and Austin is a great town, and Robert's a really fantastic filmmaker and a fun guy, and I don't know, it was enjoyable.
If you go through like the comments on like certain clips from that movie, they just say Josh Hartnett's just the coolest in this, the coolest kid in school.
They escaped detection till the mid-20th century.
You just know everything.
I'm a contradiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are saying they want a sequel. Would you be up for that?
There might be something in the work, I've heard, in the works. I have not seen a script yet, though. So if they come along and ask me to look at it, I will, for sure. Well, I don't know if it's out there. I just know that I've been contacted saying that they might be working on it.
I didn't sleep a wink last night. I had to see you. Last night was crazy, I know, but I'm not sorry.
Pearl Harbor, 2001. People and I are still not over the love triangle. So tell us, you played Danny, of course. Are you Team Danny or Team Rafe?
I gotta be Team Danny. He was a sweetheart. He was trying to do the right thing, I guess, right? I mean, Rafe died.
It's Rafe McCauley. Best pilot.
But none of us are over that.
No. And then he sacrificed himself. What's better?
Do you think if Danny knew the thing that he found out at the end, would he have changed his decision?
You're trying to not give a spoiler?
In case people haven't seen it, or should we just spoil it?
Yeah, spoil it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, like the child, if Danny knew that the child was on the way, do you think he would have done what he did?
That's a tough question. I think in that script he would have, because it would have been the more heroic thing to do. All about heroism, wasn't it?
What's Josh doing if he had known?
If I had known I was about to have a kid, I would have run in the other direction. I would have been that kid's father.
Exactly. That is what we love to hear.
This isn't our first time out together. This is serious. We're Rangers, not some sorry-ass JROTC. We're elite. Let's act like it out there.
Black Hawk Down, 2001. I mean, what was it like working with Ridley Scott?
It was great. Ridley and I became friends on that film, and we've been friends ever since. I unfortunately haven't gone back and worked with him on anything since, but I made sure of that pretty much right afterward when I turned down his next movie. I love. So I keep doing these interviews, and people keep asking me about my past, and I kind of fact that I'm not going to talk about it anymore because it's just
of course.
Every time you talk about it, it gets muddy. The waters get muddied. It was a long time ago. I was in my 20s. I'm happy with where I'm at because I'm working with some of the best directors around right now. And I'm still friends with all the directors I've worked with in the past. So I'm not. I don't like to go back and talk about these things very much because it's just literally every time the new the whatever it is, the Twitter cycle or the internet generally just starts talking about one comment I make that is about past, and it's always taken out of context. So I just don't.
I think I know what you're speaking about. But on
it's been happening for 15 years. Like, people just want to talk about me turning down movies. It's very silly because I've done a bunch as well that I think are very good.
Yeah, which is what we're talking about. Like, it was so hard to narrow these down, you know. There's too many to choose from. But speaking of Black Hawk Down, like we've seen you in combat and in action in a lot of your movies, but in this film in particular, do you remember what was most challenging about it doing this film?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very action-heavy film, and we were shooting big sequences in which there were, Humvees driving down small streets, helicopters flying overhead. We're down the street and shooting blanks everywhere, but it feels very real. And blanks can be dangerous at close range, and a helicopter is dangerous no matter what. And so I think we were all too young to really understand the sort of potential danger we were in, but we all ended up surviving it, which was lucky and good.
Ignorance is always bliss.
It's definitely, ignorance helps along the process of getting people to do things that they probably shouldn't do. Yeah.
40 Days and 40 Nights, 2002. Do you think, what was the reaction that you got from that movie back in the day, and do you have a different reaction now?
The reaction I got from the movie at the time was a lot of people asked me, why are you doing a comedy right now? Why a comedy about Lent and about giving up sex? And it was just because I had read that script before I'd done Pearl Harbor or Black Hawk Down, and I thought it was really funny. It struck me as like the most absurd thing I'd read in a long time. And I don't know if you know, but there were so many it was like a whole genre of sex comedy back then, There was just all these people making, ridiculous movies. And I thought this one was the most clever version, in that it was just about this guy who couldn't handle himself and thought that this was a great way of getting over his love for his ex, and obviously ill-fated and not very bright, but absurd and ridiculous. And I didn't expect it to be such a touchdown.
Do you find people talking about it to you now, or not that one in particular?
Talk about that one. I don't know why. I haven't heard that.
I am under surveillance 24 hours a day.
Listen to yourself, who are you?
Fast forward to the Fear Index, which we're talking about, which is why we're here today. And I like how in episode 1, you receive a present and you didn't know who gave it to you. So in the past, or even now, have you ever received a gift from a fan that was just like, whoa, like this is a bit crazy? Or not really, you don't get fan gifts or crazy gifts?
I tend not to give out my address to people.
Of course, smart.
I haven't received any. I used to get a lot of drawings that were really sweet, actually. They would go to my publicist or whatever, people who would just draw pictures of me. They weren't necessarily great drawings, or they were of me, so I didn't really care to have them around because I don't really want a bunch of pictures of myself around. But it was sweet that people were doing that and sending it off, thinking it was some sort of gift. It was a gift to me, and that was kind. But no, I mean, I tend to keep myself away from all the celebrity sort of stuff, and I'm not in the public eye that much, and so I think I've managed to escape a lot of the weird stuff.
About the drawings, I was gonna ask if you framed them, but then you said they're not that good, so probably not.
There might have been good ones in there, but it's a picture of yourself. Why wouldn't you want that? I mean, in this show, you see Gabby look at the thing and say, "There's a huge picture of myself." No one should ever have to see themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes as actors, and it's a little distressing sometimes.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. But speaking of fear, it got me thinking about irrational fears. Do you have any irrational fears that people would be surprised to know?
I have an irrational fear of needles. I hate needles. I do not like going to the doctor. And I've had to amend that because I have little kids who have to get their jabs. So I have to pretend that needles are no big deal. But yeah, all I can think about is like the needle inside my vein and like scraping around in there.
I don't like them either. Like how you just described it now, it made my skin itch. Last time I asked this question, somebody, I think it was Idris Elba, he said that he has an irrational fear of rusty nails. Like he can't look at a rusty, like if he sees a rusty nail in the toilet, he won't even go in the toilet.
Rusty nail in the toilet? What
toilets? That's why I said, I was like, what toilets are you going in?
Hits Radio.